But really, the story of Guantanamo goes back much farther than the latest hunger strike numbers and presidential promises. RT's Erin Ade reports on Guantanamo's long history, in particular this latest dark chapter at the facility over the last decade.
Ever wonder why Guantanamo Bay is in Cuba, of all places? Well, we did, and we decided to look into a little bit of the history of Gitmo. Now, it starts way, way, way back in 1898. Guantanamo was used as a camp for U.S. troops to arrive in Cuba during the Spanish-American War. Fast forward to February 1903, President Roosevelt signs an agreement with Cuba, leasing the 45 square miles of land and water that comprise Gitmo, for a rate of 2,000 gold coins a year. Now, that's valued today at about $4,000. Not a bad deal. To this day, Washington continues to pay the lease every year, and Castro's government continues not to cash the checks. 1934, under a renegotiated lease, the U.S. and Cuba agreed the land would revert to Cuban control only if abandoned or by mutual consent. Now, fast forward many, many, many decades to January 11th, 2002, right here. This is the day that marks the start of the detention operation at Guantanamo. A U.S. Air Force plane from Afghanistan touches down at Gitmo, carrying 20 prisoners. February 27, 2002, the first organized act of defiance at Gitmo takes place. Almost two-thirds of detainees go on a hunger strike to protest the rule against turbans. It's the first small victory for detainees after U.S. officials allow the turbans. Guantanamo Bay prison population hits a peak in May 2003. We're going right over here with 680 prisoners. June 2004 marks the second small victory for detainees after the U.S. Supreme Court rules that the prisoners held at Guantanamo are quote, enemy combatants and have the right to contest their status before a judge. Now, the longest hunger strike, that happened in 2005. This protest led the military to adopt the policy of strapping prisoners down and force-feeding them with a liquid nutrient mixture to prevent starvation. 2006 over here. Now, this was a big year at Gitmo. In February, the UN report strongly recommends the closure of Guantanamo. In June of that same year, 3 prisoners are found dead. 2 Saudis and 1 Yemeni detainee are found in their cells hanging from sheets. Officials said all 3 left suicide notes, the contents of which were never, ever made public. And that very same month, the Supreme Court rules 5-3 that the trial system at Gitmo, devised by the Bush administration, violates U.S. and international law. In October, Bush signs legislation authorizing tough interrogation tactics of terror suspects. There's a tongue twister. And paving the way for trials by military commission. Now, the law protects abuse during questioning, such as rape, torture, cruel and inhumane treatment, but does not require that any detainee be granted legal counsel. March of 2007, we're going over here again. Now, the U.S. military tribunal sentences Australian David Hicks to 9 months in prison after he pleaded guilty to supporting terrorism. It's the first conviction at a U.S. war crimes trial since World War II. Now, the confessed Taliban gunman had been held at Gitmo for more than 5 years. June 2007, we're all the way back over here again. Military judges dismissed charges against a Gitmo detainee accused of chauffeuring Osama bin Laden and another who allegedly killed a U.S. soldier stationed in Afghanistan. January of 2009, next year, Barack Obama orders the detention center, now holding 240 prisoners, down from its high of 680, to close within 1 year's time. February 2009, Binyam Mohammed is transferred back to the U.K. after more than 4 years at the camp. He claims he was tortured by the CIA. January 7, 2011, Obama signs the 2011 Defense Authorization Bill with provisions to prevent the closure of Guantanamo and the transfer of prisoners away from the camp. 2012, the 2012 National Defense Bill is not vetoed by President Obama, effectively paving the way for prisoners to be held indefinitely and without charges. It also extends the ban on transferring prisoners from the facility. February 6th of this year, 2013, a new hunger strike begins at Guantanamo, and July 10th, 2013, the strike peaks at 106 detainees tracked as hunger strikers, with 45 being force-fed and 3 being hospitalized. Today, August 6, 2013. The strike hits its 6-month mark. More than 60 inmates continue to starve themselves, and many of them are being force-fed, a practice the UN considers torture. President Obama is no closer to shutting down the facility.
That was RT correspondent Erin Ade.